Dear students, last class we have seen what are thyroid hormones and the examples for that. So in this class we are going to see biosynthesis of thyroid hormones. So already we have seen many thyroid hormones. In that these two are very important. What are they? One is T4, another one is T3. So T4 no, that is otherwise called as L-thyroxine, and T3 that is called as triiodothyronine. So these are the only iodine containing hormones and is having physiological properties. So in ingested iodine, so after taking the food, this iodine that is present in the food that is absorbed through the small intestine and that is transported in the plasma to the thyroid. So in the thyroid what happens, it is concentrated and then oxidized and finally incorporated into thyroglobulin. Already we have seen that is a matrix. So after incorporation it forms MIT and DIT and finally it forms T4 and T3. So what this would be the general biosynthesis. So what is that? After taking food, the iodine present in the food that is absorbed through the small intestine and transported in the plasma and finally to the thyroid. So in thyroid what happens? It is concentrated, oxidized and incorporated into thyroglobulin where it forms MIT and DIT and finally this would be coupled. Already we have seen two DITs are coupled and we are getting T4 and MIT with DIT coupling takes place and we are getting T3. For getting that synthesis, for getting that hormones, there would be 4 steps. So what are the 4 steps? One is active uptake of iodide by the follicular cells. So one is the active uptake of iodide. And second one is oxidation of iodide. That iodide undergoes oxidation and we are getting iodothyrosin. So which would be formed here, that is called as iodothyrosin. Then coupling of iodothyrosin residues and finally proteolysis of thyroglobulin and release of iodothyronins. So we'll see step by step. First step is active uptake of iodide by the follicular cells. Already we have seen step 1. So what is step 1? So after taking food, the food is having iodine, so that would be transported by the plasma to the thyroid. So here what happens, that dietary iodide is converted into iodide. That uptake we can block the uptake by means of thiocyanate on perchlorate. So these are all anti-thyroid drugs. If you are taking anti-thyroid drug, the first step that would be blocked. So what is the first step? Active uptake of iodide by the follicular cells. So the iodide present in the food, after taking that, what happens? The plasma that is transporting that iodide to the thyroid and where it would be converted to simple iodide. So the dietary iodide would be converted to simple iodide. Second step is oxidation of iodide and formation of iodothyrosin. Now we got iodide. So by means of step 1 we are getting iodide. That iodide undergoes oxidation by means of the enzyme called thyroid peroxidase. So by means of this iodide would be oxidized. On oxidation what happens? Thyrosyl residues that are present in thyroglobulin, that would be iodinated. So iodine would be added to the thyrosyl residues of thyroglobulin and we are getting diiodothyrosin and monoiodothyrosin, that is DIT and MIT. So how we are getting DIT? So by means of step 1 we are getting iodide, that one undergoes oxidation by means of the enzyme thyroid peroxidase. So what happens here? Thyroglobulin is having thyrosyl residues, so that residues would be iodinated. So iodine would be added to the thyrosyl residues that are present in thyroglobulin. So what you are getting? We are getting DIT and MIT. DIT is diiodothyrosin and MIT is monoiodothyrosin. So diiodo means 3,5-diiodothyrosin, 3-iodothyrosin. So 2 products we are getting. One is DIT and MIT. Next step is coupling of iodothyrosin residues. So we have iodothyrosin residues. What are the residues? One is called as DIT, another one is called MIT. So by means of this peroxidase enzyme, what you are getting? We are getting L-thyroxine, L-triiodothyronine. So what we are getting? We are getting T4 and T3. So these iodotyrosine residues by means of the enzyme peroxidase, that would be coupled. These would be coupled. That is 2 DIT would be coupled and we are getting L-thyroxine. 1 DIT with 1 MIT, that would be coupled and we are getting T3, that is L-triiodothyronine. But these hormones, no, they are bound to thyroglobulin through the peptide link. So these T3 and T4, no, they are bound to that would be bound to the thyroglobulin through peptide bond. So which one is connecting these two with the thyroglobulin? By means of peptide link, and they are stored in the follicular colloid. Next step is proteolysis of thyroglobulin and release of iodothyronins. So thyroglobulin, no, it undergoes proteolysis. So the proteolytic enzyme from the lysosome, no, proteolysis, there would be lysis, there would be breakdown. So what you are getting? We are getting thyroglobulin and its constituent amino acids. So that release these two, that is T4 and T3. So on proteolysis, these two hormones, no, that will be released from thyroglobulin. So what would be the procedure required for that? That is called as proteolysis. So what we are getting? T4 and T3. T4 is L-thyroxine and T3 is L-triiodothyronine. So these two would be released into the circulation. And this proteolysis, no, they can be stimulated. I mean, that process can be stimulated by means of TSH, that is thyroid stimulating hormone. So here this would be stimulated by means of thyroid stimulating hormone. So by means of thyroid stimulating hormone, there would be proteolysis and this thyroglobulin, no, that would be cleaved and we are getting thyroglobulin plus that constituent amino acids, and they release T4 and T3 into the circulation. So we'll see our diagrammatic representation for this biosynthesis now. Now we'll see the flowchart for the biosynthesis of thyroid hormones. Already we have seen 4 steps in the biosynthesis. So what is step 1? Step 1 is active uptake of iodide by the follicular cells. So here from the diet we are getting iodine and that iodine is converted to iodide. So what you are getting in step 1? We are getting iodide. What is step 2? That iodide, no, that is oxidized and we are getting iodotyrosine residue. So what is step 2? Oxidation of iodide and the formation of iodotyrosine residues. So the iodide that is obtained from step 1, no, undergoes oxidation. So what is the enzyme used for oxidation? That is called as thyroid peroxidase. So what you are getting by means of oxidation? That is hypoiodate or enzyme hypoiodate complex. So this would be the oxidized product of iodide. Now it undergoes aromatic iodination. So where the iodination takes place, aromatic ring would be iodinated. So that is the tyrosyl residue that is present in the thyroglobulin, no, that one undergoes aromatic iodination. So this oxidized product, no, then by using that, this would be iodinated. So what is that? Tyrosyl residues that is present in thyroglobulin undergoes iodination and we are getting iodotyrosyl residues. They can be called as DIT and MIT. What is DIT? Diiodothyrosyl residue, and this is monoiodothyrosyl residue. These two are bound to thyroglobulin because already we have seen thyroglobulin is a matrix. So these would be attached with the thyroglobulin. Now what is step 3? Step 3 is coupling of iodotyrosyl residues. So what are iodotyrosyl residues? DIT and MIT. Now these are going to couple. If two diiodothyrosyl residues are coupled, what you are getting? We are getting T4. If monoiodothyrosyl residue combines with diiodothyrosyl residue, we are getting T3. So how we are getting T3? By means of coupling with MIT plus DIT. For T4, 2 DIT would be coupled. So and here we are getting T3 and T4 and they are bound to thyroglobulin. How they are bound to thyroglobulin? By means of a peptide link. And what is the last step? That is proteolysis of thyroglobulin and release of iodothyronins. Now this undergoes proteolysis. On proteolysis, Actually, that was stimulated by a TSH, that is thyroid stimulating hormone. So it undergoes proteolysis and we are getting thyroglobulin plus its constituent amino acids, and they release two products. One is T4, another one is called T3. T4, no, that can be called as L-thyroxine, and T3 otherwise called L-triiodothyronine. So these two would be released into the circulation. So that would be the biosynthesis of thyroid hormones.